I'm here to talk to you about a couple of things. First of all, the Toolkit for Managers, and then something called the 70-20-10 Practitioners Programme. This is really a follow-on from a couple of sessions that we've run over the last 3 or 4 months. So I'm not sure whether there's anybody here that has seen myself and Charles Jennings talk about the programme, because there's some very specific things that we want to get out of today. So at the Learning Technologies show in January, we ran a couple of sessions, myself and Charles, and he was talking about 70-20-10 and the framework, and then I was talking to people about Toolkit. And what we were asking people in the audience is whether or not they'd be interested in a virtual program that we'd thought about putting together from some feedback with some of our customers. And so we did it on both days, and then we built up a pool of people who were interested, and then ran another event on the 23rd of April, where all of those people who were interested about being involved in the program, we ran a workshop, and then workshopped the ideas. And what I'm going to do is present back the findings from that workshop. And we've now got the bare bones of a 4 to 6 week program that has effectively been put together by the likes of you. And the next stage of that is we want to go into a pilot in September, so looking for some volunteers to be part of that pilot. The reason that we've been working with Charles, and we're called the Corporate Learning Consortium, and the toolkit that we have supports the 70 in 70-20-10. So that was the reason for working with Charles initially. And so the toolkit supports the 70 of 70-20-10. And so with a lot of the work that Charles has been doing, and I don't know whether anybody saw his session at Learning Technologies, of the 5 things that you need to run a highly effective team, one of those 5, number 4 on his list, is highly effective performance support, high quality performance support. And so that's where we're working with him in terms of some of his organisations that he's working with, is be able to provide Toolkit into those organisations. Right. So you understand what Toolkit is. I'm going to ask Wendy just to do a quick 5-10 minute run through so you can get a gist as to what it's like. And then I'm going to take probably about 5 minutes looking at those 4 areas that are going to be covered as part of the Practitioners Programme.
Okay, well, I'm Wendy Stanley. I work with Martin Baker on the Corporate Learning Consortium. I'm here to talk to you a little bit about the Toolkit for Managers. Just give you a very brief overview. The Toolkit for Managers is an online performance support resource. It contains over 3,000 different tools, templates, resources, how-to guides, videos, audios to support busy managers in their day-to-day roles. It covers over 50 different core topic areas, which we've broken down into 4 core areas within the toolkit, which we'll go through in a little bit more detail when we look at the actual toolkit itself. It's got over 16 different types of content, so it's not just focused on e-learning or resources. There's lots of different types of videos, self-assessments, infographics to really support every different learning style within the business. It's accessible anytime, anywhere. It's fully dynamic, it's fully mobile, accessible on tablet devices and out in the field. And our statistics show us that busy managers, when they most access the toolkit, is first thing in the morning and last thing at night, out of their day jobs when they're planning for sessions or putting together programs for the business. It's a very flexible resource, so it's accessible anywhere and any time. And it's actually the most up-to-date resource of its kind in the market. It's actually business-focused rather than academic-focused, and the resources actually come from multiple different sources. Okay, so this is the Toolkit for Managers. It's extremely interactive. It uses a lot of videos, a lot of images. As I've said previously, it's fully dynamic, so it's accessible on all different devices. It fully resizes and gives access to the full portfolio of content. You've got multiple different ways of accessing the content. So there's 3,000 different tools, templates, and resources. And what we've done is we've broken those down into 50 core topic areas and then 4 core headings, which you can see there. So you've got leadership strategy, managing people and teams, personal skills and development, services, projects and operations. What we've actually done as well for the 70-20-10 Practitioners Programme, all resources from that programme will actually go into this version of the toolkit to support you as part of your Practitioners Programme. Okay, so you've got the 4 core topic areas. You can type in the keyword search, you could type in performance management, etc. When you actually type in performance management, it will bring up about 189 different types of resources, which you can then filter through by content type. So if you're just looking for a piece of audio, piece of video, if you're out on the road, out on the move, you can also access checklists, top tips, video resources, self-assessments, exercises. So it's really flexible, different type of content that you can use to either support yourself within the business or to put together programs within the organisation as well. So you've got your search facility, you've got your core topic areas. On the left-hand side, you've got placeholders, and we customise these to align to organisational business objectives to support any initiatives that you're running internally within the organisation. So that could be coaching, could be a leadership program, it could be your values, mission statements, competencies, whatever. In the centre, you can see you've got the ingredients for successful partnerships. That is actually a carousel, and that content changes on a weekly basis. That is driven through an email engine. So there's actually an email newsletter that goes out to anybody that's registered within the toolkit on a weekly basis, and that is absolutely key for engagement. So you can actually push customised messages through to your staff and your managers to increase engagement and use of the toolkit, and also to align to any business objectives that you're running. You've got audio carousel down there as well. You've also got a most popular read and recommended. This is actually driven by people accessing content within the toolkit, and there's a lot further customization options that are available, so we can add in your Twitter feeds, contact details, etc., and upload your own customized content into your version of the toolkit.
Just before going to talking about the Practitioners Programme, a couple of things that I really love about this is the way that the content is put together. And I don't know whether you've seen performance support content from people like Harvard or Ashridge. There's quite a few people who are out there creating content, but it comes out of their out of the subject matter experts from within those organisations. What's different about this is the people that put the content together are a team of editors and journalists, and they then have links into all sorts of organisations around the world. So all of the business schools, so you'll see content from Harvard Business School. They've got links into all of the big publishers. So if somebody like Cotter or Dave Ulrich or somebody releases a new book, they'll interview them, and then they'll upload that as a podcast. And so you've got up-to-date information straight there on the site. So the Practitioners Programme itself. All of the resources that you'll use as you go through the program will be in a box called 70-20-10. And again, for those of you who weren't at the session in January or April with Charles, what we've done is we've put together a digital goodie bag. And so we've already started putting together some of these resources that we'll be using for this. And he's very kindly agreed that if anybody wants those now, if you're looking at implementing 70-20-10, before we start running the program, then again, let us know and we can give you access to that goodie bag. And effectively, it's just a link where we've then embedded those products, those resources that you put together on a website. Okay, so when we ran the workshop in April, we broke everybody down into 4 different groups, and we had about 45 people from major organisations across the country. And the first thing that we wanted them to do was look at how long should this thing last. And we'd got some ideas, but we just let the group talk about if they wanted to be part of a virtual program, then time-wise, how long should that be? So it's going to be virtual, 4 to 6 weeks, and we're going to start creating some content with Charles. We started already, doing quite a lot of video content that's easy for you guys to then look, watch, absorb, and take that information. We'll have a weekly webinar. We think that it's going to take about 2 hours of people's time. We were surprised about that. We actually thought when we put this together that people would want to spend less time, but the group told us when we met that they thought it should actually be more, and so that we upped that to a couple of hours. Although it's down to how much information you want to absorb. Charles has just about to release a new book, and so how long would that take you to read? It'd probably take you 10 to 12 hours. So does that fall into that 2 hours a week? Or is that 2 hours a week purely around that engagement using webinars, using different forums and group technology? And then cost. The figure that came from the group was £600. The interesting thing that came out of that was the group wanted to have follow-up sessions after 3 and 6 months and become part of like a group, an alumni. And so what we're looking at doing is creating a way of keeping everybody connected. So we'll run 3 and 6 monthly sessions for everybody to get together. And then also there'll be a forum as such, and we're just looking at different technologies to pull everybody together. What we found was there would be a cost. It would be higher if it was accredited. And so after the group that we did in April, we decided that you can, if you want it to be accredited, you can, and then you just pay the accreditation cost. And if it's not important that it is accredited, then you don't need to take that accreditation, and really keep it open. So we're running a pilot in September, so we need about 20 people. We're going to limit this to 20, 25 people to be part of this first cohort group as a pilot. And the pilot, we will go through the actual program itself over 4 to 6 weeks. We're just asking from everybody. We can then get feedback as we go along. Because from the first time we thought about putting this together, I think it's important that we get proper feedback from everybody that's involved. And we're going to just do a special price of £500 for that. Okay. Thank you.